Isis Jade, one of the more special people that I know on Facebook and in the world, really, when it comes to light workers and her connection to the universe and such. She's actually put out an urgent request across a few pages, and it reads as follows: from Isis Jade. Please, an urgent request to all the healers in my circles. My nephew's girlfriend, Zandra, was involved in a horrific bus accident the other day. She remains in critical condition. A broken pelvis, collarbone, ribs, jaw, and internal injuries. I do not often request of my healing circle, but this is very urgent. I ask each of you to include Zandra and Sean in Bentonville, Arkansas, and their families in your meditation and prayers. Any gift of energy or healing or crystal mandalas or candles, any light you can send to this most precious spirit and her family and friends is most appreciated and honored. Please send angels and guardians to watch over her and her loved ones. Namaste to my dearest family of healers. Peace be with you and yours. We sincerely appreciate all your gifts of time and energy, and it will be returned 1,000-fold. Blessings be, and much love and light. Isis Jade. So here's to Zandra and Sean in Bentonville, Arkansas. May the universe and the love and the light put you back just the way you're meant to be.
You're listening to The Inner Flame with my dad, Andrew Jones. Dad, feels weird calling you Andrew Jones. Dad, you know all this talk about your soul and the spirit? Well, do you know anything about boys? That's my dad.
That's my dad.
That's my 2012. It's a heck of a time to be alive.
Now, as you may or may not know, I have been expanding very slowly the andrewspodcast.com website. Why is it called Andrew's Podcast? I've had this domain now for a couple of years because I knew I wanted to have a podcast. But of all the subjects that I love to talk about, I wasn't sure what the podcast was going to be. So one night I was sat literally in front of my computer and I thought, what would be a good name for a podcast? And I thought Andrew's Podcast. And lo and behold, it was available. So I purchased it for the sake of $11 and there you are. So I do actually have a website, Inner Flame, which is INNERFLA.me. So it's not a .com, it's a .me. It ultimately spells out Inner Flame. I guess really this should be there, but for the sake of ease, and I was also at the time experimenting with a podcast software that I'm running on my website. It ended up being the easiest thing to do, and I was up and running. And then before you know it, Andrew's Podcast doesn't really mean anything anywhere on the website other than that's who I am. So it's not the best scenario. At least it's out there and it's up and running, and people are finding it, and maybe, you know, eventually people will get a sense of community and belonging to something a little bit more spiritually aware, joining in with a bunch of other people that are kind of all waking up at the same time. So, as am I. So I was out in my car, and as I was sat outside of Target, I went into my Audible account on my new phone. I got a new phone. I swapped it out because my old phone was cracked, and I knew it would only be a matter of time before it fell apart, and the glass on the back was becoming more and more shaky, more wobbly, and I just felt it was going to fall out. Plus my contract was up, and I had my eye on another phone. So I got it, and love it for the most part. And but one of the apps that I love to use is the Audible player from audible.com, where you download a book and you can listen to it while you work. Now, a lot of the stuff that I do is graphically based. So I'm so accustomed to cranking out the work while I'm listening to some music or a book or what have you. Obviously, if it's something that demands my full attention, such as reading words and instructions and what have you, then I need to follow that, and I cannot listen to music with words. So, yeah, I'm in my... I went off a bit then, didn't I? On a tangent. So I went into the Audible account, and I have about 32, 33 books there now. And some of them are great, and I could see all the different phases I went through with healing, what was the last one I downloaded? It was... I forgot his name. I forgot the guy's name off the top of my head, but I will recall it later on. But one of them was a book called The Isaiah Effect by Greg Braden. And it was, I believe, the book about the Dead Sea Scrolls and what was hidden in them and how it means... I mean, this for me was one of the key books in my life which didn't teach me anything new. It certainly confirmed and backed up what I had believed and what I have felt to be true within me. And the fantastic thing about it is that no matter what you believe spiritually, this book and the teachings of and the story that was told, it doesn't necessarily knock any one religion. It's just a great way to be in life, period, and a way to handle issues and your health and all that good stuff. So I come away with it with a very solid and certain sense of being, and it reinforced the way I had felt about a lot of different subjects. So I really recommend the read or the listen. Just a really well put together book, and quite mind-blowing, really. No matter if you come at it from the scientific angle, if you come at it from the Jesus and Christ angle, or if you come at it from a purely spiritual angle, which I did, and it really caters to everyone, which is great. I don't know whether there was a Jesus, to be honest with you, but as far as I'm concerned, that doesn't matter. I believe it's how I live my life as a person, how I am as a man, or as a person, as a spirit in a physical form, and I believe it's how I treat others and all that other good stuff. I don't believe me necessarily that I need to be worshipping anyone or anything. I think it's more about who I am and what I do. That's my, view on it all, and I certainly respect everyone else's view. There's many people that I love, and some believe in Jesus, some don't believe in anything, some believe in, many other different religions. I believe more or less it all rounds up to the same type of thing. So anyway, long story short, got me to thinking about healing, because the other week I was on Facebook and I was in conversation with someone, and they were saying, where did you learn your healing? And I had responded that I didn't really learn my specific form of healing from anyone. It's a myriad of techniques that for me feel most powerful, and they feel most true to have a good solid outcome and effect. And since I've had more results doing this way, that's the way I've stuck to, and it's my own method, really. It's a cross between Reiki, quantum touch, it's a cross between Qigong, Tai Chi, and also some breathing techniques that I believe Larry, I would like to call him my spiritual teacher from many moons ago, had taught me and introduced me to in a spiritual meditation class that I would go to once every last Thursday of the month. or once every other Thursday. It was just a fantastic little group, and it put me on a good path. So because of all of that, I kind of come up with my own technique, and it just seemed to have blossomed. And certain people, it's a remote method where I don't have to be in the same vicinity or room as the person that I'm helping to heal. I do not believe I'm the one that's healing. I believe I'm the one that's helping to facilitate the person that's getting healed. I don't believe it matters what they think as long as they allow. I do think it matters that they believe, because I also believe they can put the brakes on it, that they can hinder or put a halt on the process when if they believe, even like as far as the sugar pill, if someone believes, it's all good. And I believe that the placebo effect is, if nothing else, it's a surefire nod to faith healing, because they're putting the faith that it's actually being healed, but it's them themselves that's doing the healing. They're just putting the power in something else. They don't realize it's actually themselves that's healing themselves. So be it a sugar pill or what have you, I think a sugar pill is the easiest way to get someone to tap into the ability to self-heal. And even years ago, I would be in a car and I would hear a song on the radio, and the song on the radio would be so uplifting or inspiring, and it would send chills through your body, those vibrations of tingling goodness that would pulse throughout your system. And I would take those feelings when I would feel it, and I would send out from my heart the intentions or the healing and the light to those that would need it, or I was trying to concentrate on to help try and heal. I believe you can find many different forms of tools to help increase your ability to heal. I don't think you need anything more in the way of training than knowing how to laugh, than knowing what songs and what feelings and what thoughts of other people gives you certain thoughts and feelings and floods of emotions throughout your system. And when you recognize those floods of emotions, to use the positive ones to then push out that emotion to the people that need healing. And then it's no longer through my physical movements when I'm by myself and I'm, trying to quote unquote heal someone else. I'm putting out a healing intention, that I'm using those vibes as a vehicle, a very powerful vehicle to send out what is needed. The light is probably the easiest, simplest form of trying to heal someone, because lightness isn't darkness. So if you're sending out light, you're sending out, pretty much in my mind, all things good. So after that point, as long as you have intention of sending that light with that emotion to that person and letting their body do with it as they will, you don't need to be specific. You can just imagine that person being well, being healthy, seeing them live a nice long life, seeing them happy. That is healing ability. There's not much more that will supersede that in ability as far as I'm concerned. And then with the repetition of making yourself feel better and making yourself feel good and laughing, and even in moments of, say, you're at a party and you have a damn good laugh, to take that moment, to stop yourself within that moment, and you feel that flood of laughter, of happiness, of higher vibration, and you can send that out to yourself. You can radiate that throughout your whole body. You can send that to, your partner who's sick or what have you, or to a situation, or to a place of unease, or to, whatever it might be that just needs that helpful boost. We, as a race, just do not realize how powerful this can be. It's just that really, none of us do it, I'm not talking about the spiritually aware. I'm talking about the average person. I mean, why on earth would they ever do such a thing? But imagine if they did. It's so much easier to smile than to frown. There's so many more muscles used in a frown than there are a smile. Hence, it would be easier to take that and pass it on to help someone. to help a situation or an event or an outcome. Really, I guess for me, that's kind of how I was introduced to healing. I was introduced to healing initially by coming home after my initial divorce and sitting on the bed and thinking, why did all of this go wrong? And I would think about it over and over and over. And initially I would come home, I would sit on my bed and I would talk out loud, like what did I do? It would be, and I would think of all sides and I could see the other person's side. But I understood from both perspectives that it was the best thing, that I was no longer there. I needed to grow and move on. The first marriage, for me, was my vehicle to that stage in life. And then one day, I literally discovered that through all these questions became meditations. And then I thought, I need to go to a meditation group to make sure that I'm doing this correct. And then after that, the rest is history, really. And I learned more and more and more. And then I got into some healing techniques. And then I kind of discarded what didn't feel right for me and accidentally created my own technique. I had then letters from an individual that I met on an airplane who ended up getting cervical cancer. And she could tell me night for night when I was doing my healing intentions and when I was not. And then she also let me know when I had stopped because she could feel it. To me, that was mind-blowing. When you know someone, you just want to heal them. And then something like this happens. It's phenomenal. And then, all my other healings have also been remote. Lastly, I did a healing on my brother. And he had chronic fatigue syndrome. And he was in a really bad shape. And he doesn't necessarily believe, but he's open. And I said, look, Paul, I said, I'd love to try this thing on you, but I need your permission. All we know is that a year later, he's fantastic again. He dropped, I think, at least 150 pounds in weight. And he used to be in great shape. In my heart, I know that I sent him the tools for him to do it himself. And I'm sure if you asked him, he would say he did it all himself. And that's fine too, because I don't need to be proven right or wrong. But for me, it's just I take that on faith, And there's lots of other times as well that I've done healing, and I've only ever done healing in front of someone. With my girlfriend, she had a bad neck, and she's also had a bad leg. And I did the healing, and yeah, it was amazing to watch. I thought she was putting me on because she was feeling the pain when I was doing it, yet my hands were about 3 or 4 inches above her leg. And she was in some pain, which in quantum touch, you're kind of expected to go through that. And I've noticed it within my own body as well with the healing. That sometimes you go through a little bit of pain, but it's just your body straightening itself out, getting itself right, back on track, and what have you. So, you don't need to learn necessarily all these tricks and techniques. I think what's happened for me is that through learning all of these techniques and from understanding different modalities of healing, it's given me the confidence to know that this and that works, so why shouldn't that and this work? So I've taken things that are my versions of, and created. I'm very visual. I'm very in my head, and when someone describes how they cut their hand or they injured themselves, I actually feel it myself, almost to a point I'm looking for a scar or bleeding. And that's how horrible I can't listen sometimes. So I found a technique that works for me, and it has brought all of my imagination, my skills, and my abilities in together as one, and it gives me a much greater sense of powerful healing. Just short of being able to see stuff. I know there's some people here that listen, that when they do healing, they can see things happen. I can't. I'm not to that degree. I see other weird stuff going on at different times when I'm not healing. That's a whole nother show for another day.
Facebook.com/groups/The Inner Flame. Welcome to The Inner Flame, a podcast about what drives you, about the spiritual journey and the truth that rings true in your heart. Let's take a walk together and grow together. We will talk and kick about the ideas and concepts, allowing you to come to your own conclusions. No shouting, we are all equal here. Hello, this is Andrew. I'm trying to expand the show. One way I thought I could do that is by offering a phone service whereby you can call up, leave a message, leave a prayer request, thank you to someone, whatever it may be. If you want to interact on past shows, maybe give your point of view about something, or even request what we talk about in future shows. It's really up to you. I'm not completely sure how long the message will record for at this point. I guess I should have done that before I recorded this. I just want to put the number out there, and it's a US number, area code 862-200-7734. That's area code 862-200-7734. Also, come join us on our Facebook page. It's actually a group, not a page, but technically it's a page as well, I guess, right? So it's www.facebook.com/groups/The Inner Flame. Thank you so much for listening, and I really hope to hear from you soon.
So I'm beginning to come up with a theory, and it's a theory that has been suggested and spoken about over the years in a loose sort of way, but the scientists have been speaking about something on another level, and I believe it's yet another side of the same diamond, because there's many different facets. I would say coin, but that would just mean two sides. And I need to get names, I need to get some facts and figures down, because I've got a loose understanding of a new concept, and it has to do with a god, or a god force. It has to do with a fractal universe. It has to do with how much of the DNA that we know, and it has to do with how much of the universe that we actually physically know about. So from listening to all of the shows as of late, I've come up with an amazing theory that's actually quite exciting, because I think science is proving it for me, or at least putting some amazing facts and figures together that I think are absolutely relevant to each other. So I'll leave you on the edge of your seats like that, because I need to actually physically write it down so I can see it as the whole, as the bigger picture right now. But it's incredible, and it's something that I thought about 80% of where I am today, ever since I was like 7, 8, 9 and up. Ever since I would start thinking about these sorts of things. This theory is a long time in the making, so I want to talk about it, and it'd be interesting to get your take. So in a couple of the conversations that was going on last week on the Facebook group, a couple of people actually mentioned the HAARP, the HAARP, I believe, acronym of the installation of satellite dishes that have certain technology built into them. Now, a lot of people out there paranoid about these types of things, and it's actually my belief that rightfully so. And I was listening to, again, the Coast to Coast radio show online, and on September 23rd they actually had a show talking about some of this, and I'm just going to insert the clip here. It's only about 2-3 minutes long, but it states something that I actually did not know. So without any further ado, I'm just going to cut the clip in here so that you can hear what they say. And the referring website, I think it's Unsealed Files, UNSEALEDFILES.com. Unsealedfiles.com. And apparently on this site, I'm not sure if it's linked to a TV show or a podcast or whatever it is, but they go out and they get witnesses and guests and officials to talk about some of the quote-unquote conspiracy theories and some of the stuff that's actually going on out there. So listen to this. I found it quite interesting and hard to refute.
All right. Well, which one of the conspiracy, the unsealed file? Now, let me ask you this: how do you unseal a conspiracy file? In other words, well, you have to tell you have to pique our interest a little bit and just tell us what's one of the freakier ones.
Well, for instance, we have an upcoming episode on HAARP, on the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project.
Excellent.
In Gakona, Alaska, and so the government says, "Oh, this is just a weather monitoring device, and there's nothing, sneaky behind it." Now, conspiracy theorists have said for years that this thing could be used to change the weather, to be used as a weather weapon. It says, that they say that the frequency it emanates is similar to the frequency of the way we receive information in the human brain. So there are all these conspiracy theories out there. We found the filing for the patent for what became the HAARP project, and in its discussion of what it's capable of being in the future, it even says you could the goal would be to manipulate the weather with this. This could potentially be a weapon. This could be used for all sorts of things. So that's kind of how you unseal a conspiracy. I mean, we can't prove that that's what they're doing with it. We can only say that they've told us that it was never intended for this, but the patent filing says something quite different.
You deal mostly with declassified government documents and actual eyewitnesses. I mean, you're not
correct.
Okay, otherwise, because there's just a waterfall of information out there, and you can do it. It's like you said earlier, Vince. You can do a lot with Photoshop.
Right.
That's just not a problem. Okay, well, let's see what's going on out in Las Vegas.
Well, I don't know about you, but that was pretty self-explanatory and very interesting. Anyway, the show went on to explain a lot more on a bunch of various different topics. But check out the website, unsealedfiles.com. I actually, during the listening to that, I actually went and visited the website. It's not a great website. The information is put out there. So go check it out. I'm sure there's something for everyone.
Hello?
Hi, Daddy. It's me. I was just wondering if I should call you. If you would like to talk to Mom, here she is. I was just calling you. I hope you were here. I hope you're here. We're going out to dinner, but we'll be home later. You can call us on our cell, 973-879. Bye.
That was my beautiful daughter, Emma. She lives out in Pennsylvania, someplace. And that was her from when she was very young and trying to do the right thing on the phone, and left some just adorable messages way back when. This year, she will be 12 years old in November. So, yeah, that's her leaving a message, probably when she was about, 5, 6, 5, somewhere around there. I'm not sure. I should have put a date on it. Anyway, so a couple of weeks ago, Dee and I had a very impromptu trip to a psychic fair. I thought it was like a health food type fair with a few psychics on hand. Little did I know, the last minute decision to go would end up turning into a reading, being actually myself. I've never been read like that in a show, and I actually recorded the audio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip the audio in here for you to hear, and you'll be able to hear what I was told in person. Now, a couple of things are a little bit more personal, so I'm going to take those out. But other than that, this is Lisa Ann doing a reading. As she's going around the room, she just picked on people like willy-nilly and just got very, very specific with people. And it was fantastic. As you could tell, it was not generic stuff, as you'll see from my reading. So here's Lisa Ann. It's a few weeks ago in September, as she read me at a psychic fair.
What's your first name? Andrew. Andrew, nice to meet you. What were you doing with like music or something? I saw the music notes around you.
Yeah, I play with music on the computer.
Okay. Did somebody ask you to like, I don't know the technical word, to compose, would that be proper? To compose something for them, or... Because I feel like there's someone that asked you to do something, like, you're very funny. You're always like, yeah, whatever. Like, yeah, whatever. Like, you don't look at it that it could be something. Do you see what I'm saying?
I've done a lot of voiceovers in the past.
Okay. But this is more, I'm literally hearing the composing.
Yeah, I do enjoy to do that, but I'm not a musician as such.
Right. But you need to step into that more, okay? And, like, somebody's going to ask you to do something. It's going to just be, like, a stupid, fluky thing that you're going to be like, whatever, I don't have time for this. But that is going to lead to something that's going to lead to something that's going to lead to something. Okay? See, I feel like I want to shake you in a nice way and say, like, you're always doing things to represent other people, but you need to be doing things to represent yourself. Like, I feel like I want to hear your words, not your voice. I want to hear your thoughts, not what someone else. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You have a lot of information to tap into that you need to share, okay? All right, so the last thing that I'm hearing to tell you is that someone else's perception of you does not make you that person. Do you understand? So they can perceive you however they want, but that doesn't mean, if I say you're green, it doesn't mean you're green. Okay? Make sense? Okay.
Now, that was just so cool for me on so many different levels. Creating music for me is possibly one of the most favorite things that I can do when it comes to me naturally. Since I've been told this, since I had the reading, I've kind of been struggling looking for what is my style, what do I do, you know. But when in fact it does come to me quite naturally, and I forget that. So I have been asked here and there to help create some musical bits and pieces. A friend of mine, Rick, my best friend really, had suggested that one of the songs that I sang would be used as the theme music for one of his next creations, which I can't tell you about right yet because he's still creating these characters. He's a master sculptor, but who knows if it's going to come from that or if it's going to come from something new. I'm not sure. That is exactly how I feel about it. I don't really take it too seriously. It is something that I would love to do. I'd actually love to do this full time if there was a way to do this. If there was a way to help impart helpful information, really. Not the way, not, you know, this is the way things are, but at least a helpful, handy guidebook for life, so to speak, because I've certainly lived a lot of it. And that's where, when Lisa said, you know, I've got a lot of information at hand, I felt a resonance there. So I've been trying in many different ways to explain the last little bit that I've shown you of Lisa Ann's reading of me, and it's probably the most pertinent piece of information in my growth right now, and that is just because someone thinks something of me doesn't make it so. That pertains to the last place that I worked, and also to another issue where someone just completely got the wrong end of who they think I am, and it's laughable, but sadly it really upset me there for a spell. I hate people having the wrong end of who they think I am. Which is odd, because why the heck should I care? But this is now like the 5th or the 6th time recording this, and I don't want to go into it all over again because it gets very all about me, and this is not what this is all about. If anything, the show seems to be turning into a bit of showing by example, so I do end up talking about myself, but I don't want to air dirty laundry, let's say, because this isn't the place for it. But needless to say, yes, the outcome of it is I seem to care about what people think on some level. But then on other levels, I don't, because otherwise I probably wouldn't be doing this show. So there you go. But just every single thing that Lisa Ann had to say was just spot on, right on the nose, and yeah, incredible.
Hello, this is Andrew. I'm trying to expand the show. One way I thought I could do that is by offering a phone service whereby you can call up, leave a message, leave a prayer request, thank you to someone, whatever it may be. If you want to interact on past shows, maybe give your point of view about something, or even request what we talk about in future shows. It's really up to you. I'm not completely sure how long the message will record for at this point. I guess I should have done that before I recorded this. I just want to put the number out there, and it's a US number, area code 862-200-7734. That's area code 862-200-7734. Also, come join us on our Facebook page. It's actually a group, not a page, but technically it's a page as well, I guess, right? So it's www.facebook.com/groups/The Inner Flame. Thank you so much for listening, and I really hope to hear from you soon. Meanwhile, somewhere out there in the world, why is life so tough? I can't take much more of this.
Hey, over here, listen to me. Sometimes the stars and planets align, bringing into focus all those little synchronicities. Sometimes it seems like chaos is all around, when really it's just order falling into place. When life seems upside down, give it a moment to settle. It will turn right side up. Amidst all of this, remember you are never given more than you can handle. When you find yourself in a moment of joy and happiness, cherish it, hold it in your heart, and send that feeling, that emotion, to someone that deserves it. By doing this, you will help slowly change the world, one heart, one smile at a time. This is my prayer, my request, my gift to you.
I love that. That's possibly one of my most favorite tracks that I've created. And that was with my daughter, Emma, who is currently 11 years old. And that's right, 11 years old. She's going to be 12 in November. But we had fun doing that. We sat down, found some audio that would be fun, and I felt I could turn into something. And then very impromptu, I wrote down words on sticky notes, and she read it out, but she really felt it, and she put her heart into it, as you could probably tell when she reads it. You know she's not just reading the words. So yeah, very proud of her, and that was fun. I look forward to creating more with Emma. And I actually asked my son if he's more of a rap guy, so I'm now trying to think of a duet type of thing where he's rapping and maybe I'm singing over the top. I do like to sing. It's just something I don't have the nerve for in person. I don't mind doing it on audio for everyone else to hear. I'm a bit of a ham when it comes to that, but actually doing it live, for some reason I just don't have the nerve. One day maybe. So I have lots that I want to talk about from the Facebook group, but it's 40 minutes now in the show, and I don't want to go on and on and on and on. So I'm going to stop the show here. You know, we'll cover a lot of the topics then. We've had a few new members, and some are really being a strong part of the Facebook group, and there's just lots of great food for thought. Yeah, so I look forward to covering that in the upcoming show. One of the things that I do want to cover in the next show is a couple of subjects. One, so I guess it's going to be a little addition on the end of this show. A couple of subjects which kind of tie into one, and that is the fight that I have had spiritually with leaving the physical world of today, meaning I'm not partaking in the physical world as most people do. I don't care so much. I don't partake so much. I don't worry so much, because at the back of my mind, I always know that literally this isn't the reality. This isn't a home. That when all is said and done, I'm going to be going elsewhere. So, and it's been kind of voiced by a couple of other people on the site, and I think there's a bit of a danger to that. Not, life and death type of danger, but I think that there is, what I've learned is that by not partaking in the realities of everything that's going on around us, that at the end of the day, we're not learning what we could be learning. We're not getting out of this reality what we could be getting out of this reality, this experience, this time to learn and grow and evolve. So I think we all have this version of life for a reason, and one of the main reasons is to this gives us limits. It gives us things to get over. It gives us a rather fast way to grow and learn. I think if we were all spirit and we were all connected with each other's minds and thoughts and what have you, we wouldn't be able to do the growing I think that we would here. It's very deep. It's very, very big. But one of the subjects that kind of mix into this is, I handed out a Facebook privacy policy opt-out form on Facebook the other day, and I had a couple of responses saying, I don't care what people know about me, and I don't care what people, they just don't care about other people's, what they know about their internet activities. And it's a much, much bigger it's much bigger than this. It's not just them knowing your likes, your dislikes, your preferences in life and what have you. It's about a slow eradication and chipping away of your privacy, about being force-fed. If I knew certain aspects of you and I wanted you to think or react or buy a certain thing, or I wanted you to do a certain thing, or I wanted society to be a certain way, if I knew enough about you, I would know, like sheep, I would know how to hurdle you, how to rein you in a direction, how to make you move as I want you to move. And little would you realize over time the slow eradication of your own will, of your own ability for making decisions, because you'd kind of be looking at life through rose-colored glasses, because everything that you want would seem to be at your fingertips, when in fact you're being corralled into a way of living that suits the few, so that they can line their pockets with money and power and what have you. So I believe life is just as much about growing spiritually, about growing morally, but I think it's also about taking responsibility for the world, the planet, for looking after other people, for making sure that injustices are not carried out against our beliefs, against our thoughts, our reasoning, our way of life, and the slow chipping away of our freedoms and the little things that necessarily people don't know about us is not about giving us better products, is not about giving us, that's just saturating our need for self-greed, self-feeding, and making sure that we're addicted to something, be it cigarettes, booze, shoes, clothes, looking good, sex, whatever it might be. It cannot. The simple process of our browsing and what we click on the internet is not just about privacy. It's about, this is the precursor to things much larger that you're not even thinking of right now. And you're giving away the freedom of your tomorrows, because they will be able to predict what you're going to click on. They're going to be able to predict the types of commercials and ads and stuff that you're going to want to click on, the stuff that you're going to want to react to get a certain response from you. This is about control. It's just very, very, very deep. Much more than I can get into. But, there's a little scratch of the surface, and you need to be living this life very aware, and as much globally aware as you can. The more you can do that, and the more you can kind of help people realize that they're kind of doing that, the better. So that's it. I just ranted and raved there, didn't I? Anyway, that's enough of my ranting and raving. My throat has been a little bit rough. I've had a little bit of a cold about me. My throat has not been correct. Has not been right. So, correct. How can a throat be correct? So, my throat's just been a little bit rough. And I will leave you on the thought. In fact, I won't. I was going to say something, but if I do, I'm going to give it away to the person that I'm going to be seeing, and they don't know that I'm going to see them yet. So I can't really say that now. So I've kind of painted myself in a corner, and you're left there scratching your head, thinking, what the heck is he saying? So, on that very confusing note, I'm going to leave you there. And thank you so much for listening to another edition of the Inner Flame with your host, myself, Andrew Jones. And please tune in again soon. I'm not sure when the next show will be. I'm going to hope to get it out within another week to 2 weeks from now, instead of this long wait that it has been. Not that many of you are on the edge of your seats waiting for this show, but a couple of you have expressed your pure delight at listening. So thank you. Come back again soon. Visit the website. I got to make some edits on the website because a few of the YouTube movies that I linked to up there have been removed. So then they're dead links. So I need to update with some fresh stuff. So the website again, oddly named, andrewspodcast.com.